What's up, everyone? This is Pooka, and welcome to another game from Bad Deck Monday, where we play some silly decks and hope that they work out, even though they have some ridiculous strategy or unusual Pokemon that we don't see very often. It's all about having fun and seeing if we can be creative and still manage to win, but the goal is to have fun. So this deck is kind of a Bad Deck Monday classic by this point. This is a Flygon Dusknoir deck. Now, a lot of people have said, oh, this deck isn't really bad. It actually has had some success in competitive play. It did well at some city championships. So, there is some viability to it. But my argument when I play this deck, the reason it is always going to be a bad deck in my mind. So, Flygon has the Sand Slammer ability. This is the entire basis of the deck. In between turns, it does 10 damage to all of your opponent's Pokemon. Pretty simple. Over the course of the game, you're trying to build up enough damage to knock things out. Now, if this deck ever got popular at any point, what would happen? Well, there is a card named Superior that has Royal Heal, I think it's called, that heals 10 damage from all of your Pokemon in between every turn. So, a single Stage 2 line completely nullifies this deck. So, this is why I think it'll always stay on Bad Deck Monday for me. Just knowing that, no matter what you do, if this deck ever gets popular, there is a very, very, very simple counter to beat it. So now that that's out of the way, let's enjoy our Flygon, Dusknoir, and Accelgor deck. I run a 2-2 Accelgor line in the deck because it is difficult to generate damage once your opponent has a small bench. This deck does actually a decent amount of damage when your opponent has 6 Pokemon in play. You're doing 60 in between every turn, and that adds up over a couple turns, especially when you can rearrange the damage with Dusknoir. But once there's only like 2 Pokemon in play, you're hardly doing any damage. So you need something to get a little burst of damage to get the final knockout sometimes. And Accelgor works nicely because you can deck and cover, shuffle in Accelgor, and then promote Flygon to get the Sand Slammer in between turns still. So there's a nice combo there. I used to do Ninjask, but I think Accelgor is a little better since you get the poison and the paralysis as well. Now we're going up against a Blastoise Keldeo deck. So this is a pretty bad matchup for Flygon, normally. Plus the fact that my hand is pretty bad. I had a Skyla for Level Ball to get a Trapinch on the first turn there. This deck does play 4 Tropical Beach. That is the center of this deck. Every turn we can just Tropical Beach and draw until I have 7 cards. That's really the point of the deck, because Sand Slammer is not an attack, so you just beach and fill up your hand, and then your opponent takes damage. It's actually pretty cool. This deck is actually one of the neatest decks, I think, in the game. It's got a lot of subtle things that make it pretty awesome. You can see the Sand Slammer right there. So here we're just going to go for the Tropical Beach again. I'm deciding if I want to put down another double colorless, and I think I'll just put another one on Shelmet, since if I deck and cover, it just goes in the deck, and I'll get them back for later. So I might as well just do that. As long as Shelmet doesn't get knocked out, we're good. Now I don't know what exactly is in my opponent's Blastoise deck. We see a Victini EX, and that is just straight up weird. We do not see Victini EX in Blastoise ever. Normally it's just Black Kyurem EX, Keldeo EX, those are your attackers, and Black Kyurem EX can pretty much knock out everything, since Black Ballista does 200 damage. So I'm not sure what the purpose of Victini EX is. I can see it being for Virizion Genesect, since Victini EX is pretty darn good against that deck, but I don't think Blastoise is bad enough against Virizion Genesect where you would need to put in Victini EX too. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but Black Kyurem EX seems to handle Virizion Genesect pretty well once Blastoise gets set up, but maybe this person just got really tired of losing to Virizion Genesect and said, screw this, I'm putting in Victini, and we're going to intensifying burn all those grass Pokemon. I don't want to deal with that nonsense anymore. We'll see if there's like Victory Piece in here too. I don't know. I'll find out. We do see an energy search for a water energy. So we're still waiting to see what's going to happen here. The water goes on to the black Kyurem EX, and ooh, a switch. Another card we don't see very often in Blastoise. Since you do have Keldeo EX's Rush In. But this is actually pretty problematic. A black Kyurem EX just used Slash for a knockout. The reason this is such a bad matchup for Flygon is the fact that they just kind of knock everything out. And in one hit. That's the entire point here. They knock you out in one hit. That's about it. And when Flygon's getting knocked out in one hit every single turn, it's not a good formula for success. So we're going to see what we can do here. I am going to Ultra Ball, discard a Max Potion and a Tropical Beach, and we'll have to get another Trapinch out this turn or something. Yeah, we'll have to go for that. We need to have a constant stream of Flygon in order to really keep up with any deck, honestly. That's the entire point. Use Tropical Beach every turn. Keep filling your hand, getting more Flygon out, and eventually take some big turns with Dusknoir and whatnot. So we're going to just promote Flygon, and Sand Slammer will do some damage as we Tropical Beach and draw 6 cards. And a third DCE goes on that Accelgor. That is one super powered Accelgor. Well, I wish Deck and Cover could do more damage now. Actually, no, I don't. That would be silly. Anyway, so where do we go from here? We're down a prize. We're going to be down 2 after this turn, definitely. 1 energy, Black Ballista finishes off the Flygon here. And then I'll probably be in some big trouble. I do have a Skyla, which could get me a rare candy for another Flygon. But I don't know if that's going to be worth it. And hey, there is a Victory Piece. Go figure. So this person is really upset about Virizion Genesect, probably. And, well, if you lose to a deck enough times, you go crazy. And sometimes you just go overboard trying to tech for it. We see a Fire Energy as well. So, yeah, definitely going crazy here. We see an Ultra Ball. Let's see what that's going to go for. Maybe another Keldeo EX. Could be another Squirtle. Yep, there's another Keldeo EX. And my opponent benches it. I'm actually happy to see more benched Pokemon. That means Sand Slammer will do more damage. And that's a good thing for me. Because I need to do more damage. Because currently I'm only doing 40. And by that I mean I only have 40 damage on my opponent's field. And there's only 10 damage on everything. So, this is not going well so far. We have done a total of 40 damage at this point, as this black Kyurem gets massively powered up, and I'm going to get hit by a black Ballista here pretty soon for not just 200 damage, but it's actually times 2 for 400 damage. Ouch. Flygon just got smacked up. 400 damage. That is overkill. Alright, well, what can we do from here? We have lost a Flygon. We have a Trapinch and an Accelgor with 6 energy on it. Those are our Pokemon in play right now. Alright, so and then the obvious thing to do here is level ball and probably get another Trapinch. See if we can keep going with our stuff here. I guess. Grab a Trapinch. The decision here this turn is going to be, do I play a Skyla or an N here? If I Skyla, I can get Rare Candy, get another Flygon, and then we'll go from there. Just Tropical Beach again. If I play an N, I can try to draw into Rare Candy, Flygon, and then hopefully some better cards. So this is actually an interesting decision. I'm just not getting enough Pokemon in play to keep evolving and set up multiple Flygon at once. That's really what you need to do with this deck. If one goes down, you want to have another one ready immediately. So in between turns, you can just promote the new Flygon. So I'm just going to go for it and play an N here. And it failed pretty miserably, I have to say. Yeah, that didn't go very well. So now I'm going to have to Tropical Beach anyway. But I did get some more Trapinch, so that's good. And we got an Ultra Ball as well. I gotta decide what to get rid of with this Ultra Ball. I'm gonna get rid of Dusknoir and a double colorless here. And we're gonna grab a Dusknoir and get all these bad boys out here. We'll retreat into probably Mr. Mime since it is worthless. Can attach. I'm not sure why I discarded the double colorless there, but I put down another Floatstone and draw 7 fresh cards off that Tropical Beach. Alright, maybe we can start to get going here. This looks miserable though. Oh my god. I've only done 40 damage and my opponent is fully set up. There is nothing going for me. Okay, what do we do? This is going to be an uphill battle. That's not even a question. This is an uphill battle if I've ever seen one. The only thing going for me is we got that Accelgor, and he is angry. But he still only does 50 damage. We'll have to see what my opponent does this turn. A Secret Sword here would be pretty devastating, as it would do, well, it would knock out Mr. Mime, and there would be just an attacker ready for next turn already. I don't mind if my opponent keeps using Black Ballista. He may run out of energy if he has to discard 3 every single turn. So there is that. My opponent has taken quite a long turn here, so I'm not really sure what's going on. From my side, let's try to think about what we can do. Oh, we see a switch. Kind of strange since they do have the Keldeo with the Floatstone and could have just used Russian and retreated for free. And also, Victini EX is coming out. This could be a turn where my opponent doesn't have, well, anything. And if that's the case, this could be the one turn we need to set up here. That would be really nice. Get a kind of a free turn to get some Pokemon into play. The downside, of course, is I don't have a rare candy. Oh, we do see an Ultra Ball. Discarding a Keldeo and an N. So I'm going to assume my opponent does have a supporter. Probably a Juniper. Perhaps a Chorus. I don't think it would be a Skyla. Because you would just play the N at that point and draw 4. And put my 7 cards down to 6. Oh, it's a regular black Kyurem. That's pretty annoying too. But yeah, there is the Professor Juniper. That's kind of what I expected off of that. And now 7 fresh cards, that means definitely Mr. Mime is going down, and we are in some mighty trouble. The regular black Kyurem is pretty annoying, since it's a dragon type. It does knock out Flygon in 1 hit, and it only gives up 1 prize, so that's a real problem. And it only discards 1 energy each time with Flash Freeze. So these are all big problems in our future. And we do see an energy goes on to Keldeo EX. And when we see another one, if we see 3 this turn, then a Secret Sword takes down poor Mr. Mime. There is number 2, Deluge. My opponent gets to attach as many water energy as he wants. And will we see a 3rd one? The suspense is killing me. Will we see it, or will Mr. Mime survive the turn? Oh, man. Find out next time on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Seriously, this is... my opponent's computer... Oh, there's the energy. Sometimes Pokemon TCG Online can be a very laggy program, where it takes very long for your actions to register. Maybe your internet goes out. Oh no, it's actually a Turbo Energize from the Victini. Wow, okay. I did not expect that. Alright. So we actually did get a turn to do something here. Now, unfortunately, I have to Juniper away all that stuff. That is not good. Fortunately, we got a rare candy now. And we can rare candy into Flygon. And okay, maybe we can get something going here. We can retreat. I got the float stone on the Mr. Mime. I'm going to play an escape rope for the heck of it, just to see what's going to happen. Maybe if a Keldeo comes out, I could deck and cover and get a bunch of damage on the board. And it does. Wow. Okay. So that's actually good for me. That's the only thing my opponent should not have promoted, I think. But we're going to deck and cover for 100 with the weakness, and then promote Flygon for some sand slamming action. And yeah, we're going to start to do some damage. Now we've got some damage to work with. Now if we get Dusknoir going, we can have a good time. We can Sinister Hand, move all the damage to one thing. One thing that's standing out to me in particular is my opponent only has one Blastoise in play and no other Squirtle. So we could knock out Blastoise and take away that Deluge ability. And if that's the case, my opponent might not be able to power up attackers to knock me out in one hit every turn. The big problem here is, there's a Tool Scrapper, that's kind of an annoying problem. But the big problem here is that the Black Kyurem EX has 3 energy already. Keldeo EX has 3 energy already. We see an N that's actually good for me. Draw 6 fresh cards. Yeah, the problem is that there's a lot of energy on board already. So even knocking out Blastoise might not be a solution at this point. But we have put a decent amount of damage on the board. As we see the superior energy retrieval. Now that's going to be a lot of energy. That's not good. So we'll have to see what we can do right here. So I've gone through a lot of resources too. I had to Juniper away 2 Flygon. Super Rod is in the discard pile already. I'm probably going to have to use Dowsing Machine on that Super Rod. A couple of rare candy are gone already. I have 2 left though, so that's a positive. As Keldeo EX does get powered up. Now that Secret Sword with 5 energy is a real bugger. I'm not sure how we're going to deal with that. But we're going to have to find a way. As 4th energy goes into Black Kyurem EX. And this is what I'm saying. Look at all the energy. I don't know if I can deal with this. Secret Sword for 150. This is the hardest thing for this deck to deal with. We do have... we did draw an N off of that. That's good. I got a Flygon in play. I may hold off on playing the Dowsing Machine for when I really need it. I don't know if I really need it right now. But going to go ahead. Get a Vibrava into play. We can actually Tool Scrapper. The victory piece isn't as important as the Float Stone, maybe. Get a Shelmet down, and we can start to slam some more sand. And going to be down 4 prizes before I really do anything, but maybe we have some hope here. I'm not sure. It does look very bad at this point. But we're going to look for a way out. That's all we can do. You know, I think it's very important. A lot of people tend to just give up on Pokemon games or just say, oh, well, there's nothing I can do. I'll just attack and, I'll lose. But in these situations, you have to find creative ways to win. You can't just... At this point, I can't just attack and hope to win. I'm down 3, what's about to be 4 prizes. So how in the world are you supposed to just attack from there? No, if we trade attacks at this point, I lose. My opponent gets prizes first. So I have to find some tricky way to, get prizes and do it before my opponent gets his, or, take away something, or try to deck my opponent out. Something like that. That has to be the plan at this point. Now, trying to figure out what this plan is going to be. The one thing I noticed is my opponent has played 2 Switch for some reason in a Blastoise deck. I'm actually glad those are gone. The one thing I noticed besides that is the 3rd Keldeo EX is in the discard pile. Now, if I were to deck and cover, it would... Oh, and we can see all 4 Flygon are in the discard, so we're probably going to have to, Super Rod. Use that dowsing machine for a Super Rod. But what I can do, I have Dusknoir in play finally. And we can Sinister Hand, move damage to the benched Keldeo EX. Knock it out. That way, if I deck and cover and paralyze the active Keldeo EX, my opponent doesn't have one on the bench to rush in. So the Keldeo EX will be locked in place, and this could buy me a turn to go ahead and do something. So this is going to have to be my plan at this point. Grab the N with the Skyla, and we're going to go ahead and... I probably should have used Sinister Hand first, because I'm going to be drawing some prizes, and then use Skyla. I probably did that out of order. But, yeah, this is what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to move damage over to the benched Keldeo EX, knocking it out, and then try to paralyze the active Keldeo EX for a turn to buy myself some time. And then maybe that can be the beginning of something beautiful. We're down 4 prizes at this point. I realize this is a very unlikely comeback. There's 5 energy on the active Keldeo EX, 4 energy on the bench Black Kyurem EX. My opponent only has to take 2 prizes before I lose. It looks very, very bad, but we're going to try. And I do get a Shellman off the prizes. This could help with consecutive deck and covers. We're going to move some damage off of the Keldeo EX in case of Max Potion. We just want to reduce the effectiveness of Max Potion. And I do have a DC. I could play that down on my other Shellmet at this point. But looks like I'm just going to deck and cover for 100. I think I'm going to save that. I do play Mewtwo EX, so there's potential for me to save that DCE for a Mewtwo. I can always attach it next turn. So, deck and cover, my opponent is paralyzed, and like I said, there was a Keldeo EX in the discard pile. There's 1 active, so now there's 2 in the discard pile. Most Blastoise decks only play 3, but this is a very unusual Blastoise Keldeo deck, so nothing is guaranteed, I suppose. But now we've built up a lot of damage on my opponent's Pokemon. There's 110 on the active Keldeo, and I think on the benched Pokemon there's like 120 more damage. So there is an opportunity at this point to perhaps even win the game. I mean, if we think about it, we can move a lot of damage to the Black Kyurem EX. And like I said, I do play Mewtwo EX. So I could X-Ball this Keldeo EX that has 5 energy. If I drop a DCE on a Mewtwo, we could X-Ball and get the victory. If there's enough damage out there to do that. I'm not sure. I would be doing 140 with X-Ball and then 10 more from Poison. So if we can move enough damage to the bench to Black Kyurem EX, and we don't even need to knock out Black Kyurem EX. We can knock out Victini EX. Oh man, what am I thinking? It is 110 HP. We just have to take 4 more prizes. So if this Keldeo EX remains stuck in the active spot this turn and doesn't move, I think we can actually win. And that's just silly how quickly a game like this could turn around. When I was down 4 prizes, and I really haven't done anything the entire game. We got 1 big deck and cover off. And now things have changed. I think we got maybe 2 deck and covers off this game. And that's all the difference. Just getting that damage on the board. Getting just enough. Now the Victini EX on the bench is definitely helping. Low HP EXs, not good against Dusknoir. Those are 2 prizes waiting to happen. And yes, we just see the Tropical Beach drawing some extra cards here. And, alright, I think that's it. We can, at this point, there's 120 damage on the Keldeo. There's plenty of other damage on the board. So let's go ahead and just start moving it over to Victini. And Sinister Hand is going to take about an hour to use, since you have to click like 4 times for each damage counter you want to move. Actually, it's 5 times. Hopefully someday they fix that mechanic, but for the time being, we will have to deal with it. So here's Sinister Hand. We're going to move all this damage over to Victini EX. And this is why this deck is so fun. You take all the damage that you just slowly spread out, and then you just kind of pounce at the last minute and collect all your prizes if you can. So we can see now Keldeo only has 60 HP. We can Ultra Ball, discard whatever as long as I don't get rid of a double colorless. So we're going to grab our big Mewtwo, drop the DCE, and then retreat for an X-Ball. And somehow we win. 6 prizes out of nowhere. When it looked so horrible, we managed to make a 4-prize comeback in 2 turns. And that is the power of Dusknoir. And that's what happens when you hit the beach, I guess. Flygon, Dusknoir, Accelgor. It might not be very bad. It's got some crazy games sometimes. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope this was at least entertaining a little bit. I will definitely have some more videos for you guys soon. This is Pooka from the Top Cut, and I will see you guys next time.